What is up, guys? 70 Savage here. Today we have a very exciting video. We are going to be going over how I PC game in the van. If you are new to the channel, we have been converting this Sprinter van right here into a full-on tiny home, and it is finally complete. We have documented every single step along the way, so anything that you see in this van during this video, there's probably a video on how to build it on this channel. A quick overview of what the van looks like here. We got our kitchen galley unit with a fridge freezer underneath it. We got full-on running water. All of the mattresses on that bed come off, and the bed system slides back, revealing a shower underneath this front corner. We got the bench seat, which we're gonna get a little bit more into later. That houses all the electrical compartment. Got some storage in here, and then we got a fan and solar panels on the roof. So in the past few years, technology has come so far that you can competitively game like a pro on a PC in your van. You might call that a pro on the go. I am not a pro, by the way. I am more of a hopeless dreamer trying to fulfill a childhood dream. I guess that's why I did the adult version of building forts for the past year. So in my case, I wanted to have a PC gaming setup that was great both in the van and at home, as I do not live in here full time. I wanted to have the same competitive gaming experience whether or not I'm in the van or at home. So before we get into the setup here, normally I sell out on this channel. This time I am going to sell out for my brand new gaming channel. There is a link popping up on the screen right here. Right now I primarily play Fortnite on that channel. If you are interested in following that, I would really appreciate it. It is super small right now, so any subscription counts. So this right here is what my gaming setup looks like in full force. What we did is essentially swiveled the passenger seat around. I installed a swivel seat on that. And then I have this swiveling table, which I mount my entire gaming setup on, and I pull it up right to the passenger seat. Something I love about this is that this passenger chair in the 2019 vans is super comfortable. As for hardware, I obviously use a gaming laptop. Due to the nature of laptops being laptops and running off their own battery, the hardware inside of a laptop is optimized to draw much less power than their desktop counterparts, making it fantastic for the van. I'm gonna get into power consumption a little bit later and how I actually power this thing. Also, since it's just a laptop, it's so easy to just close it. And in my case, I have a dedicated laptop storage area where I can just take my laptops, both my gaming laptop and my work laptop, slide it up there, close this, and it's nice and secure while we're driving. One time I did leave this open and decided to start driving, and my laptops came rocketing out mid-drive, colliding with about 15 things on the way down. As for the specs on this bad boy, it has a 2080 Super graphics card in it. It has an 8-core i7 processor, has 16 gigs of RAM, and it has a 300 hertz screen, which is unheard of in the world of gaming, let alone laptops. I am not exaggerating when I say that the power of this laptop is truly nutty. It can power Fortnite, which is the game that I primarily play, at 240 frames a second, while simultaneously streaming all from the laptop itself. Being able to stream and game with no frame loss at 240 frames a second is one of the holy grails of the gaming industry. It was a casual $3,300. That being said, you do not need a $3,300 laptop to game competitively in a van. Previously, I was using this laptop right here, which is another 17-inch laptop. It still has a 144 hertz screen, so I can play at 144 frames a second. It has a 2060 graphics card in it. It also has an i7 processor, and all of this came in at only $1,300.
Well, Savage, I could build a gaming PC for a lot less than that with the same specs.
Okay, Jimmy Neutron, but did you consider the price of a 144 hertz IPS panel on that? What about the gaming keyboard as well? And also, this includes things like a copy of Windows, nice to haves like a wireless card or a Bluetooth card, a webcam, a mic. You get the gist. This laptop's now a lot more than $1,300. What I did to find this at such a good deal was using one of my favorite websites, slickdeals.com. If you just peruse that on a daily basis, you will find great deals on laptops. As for peripherals, I use this massive mouse pad here so that I can use the exact same sense when I'm playing in the van as I do at home. To put it into perspective, this is the size of a top ramen compared to the mouse pad. That being said, I have recently been picking up the sticks. Something about being able to just kick back and play on the sticks is really satisfying. Playing on controller also allows me to use this laptop stand right here, which I can use to pull the laptop screen closer to me. I do buy 17-inch laptops because they have better cooling mechanisms, more space for air to flow, and there's also a bigger screen, which makes it closer to the at-home gaming experience. Link to this bad boy in the description below. One of my favorite parts about this gaming setup, about using this laptop, the same one that I use in the van, is all I have to do is bring it inside and plug in a couple connectors, and my at-home gaming setup is ready to go. All right, so moving on to the electrical. If I take off this bench seat right here, it exposes the electrical innards. At the very bottom of this cabinet, you can see the edges of the batteries right here. I have 4 100 amp hour AGM batteries. They're 12-volt batteries. Overall, guys, this is a 250-pound battery bank. On top of the batteries, you can see this chunky boy right here. This is our inverter. So this thing converts DC power into 110-volt AC power and directs it to my outlets. And I also have an AC outlet right down here, which is what I use while I'm gaming. There are 2 ways that I put power into these batteries. The first one, the primary way that I charge them, is via solar. I have 3 solar panels on the roof and it's 300 watts in total. If that's not enough, I also have this DC to DC charger. What this thing is it runs all the way to the front of the car and connects to the car battery. So while I turn my car on and the alternator is charging that, it sucks some of the power from it and puts them into these batteries. When it gets cloudy or if it's nighttime and I'm having a long gaming session, I used up all my solar. It's really nice to have that. To put into perspective how much those charge, that alternator charger charges at 40 amps. So that's 480 watts. My laptop, when I'm in full force gaming mode, it uses about 200 watts of energy. So if I turn the car on and turn that alternator charger on, I can not only play games, but I can also be charging batteries at the same time. And then I mentioned the solar panels on the roof. On a bright sunny day where it's also cold outside, in optimal conditions for those solar panels, I'll be generating about 250 watts. That covers it for power. Now, the final piece of the equation for gaming in the van: internet. There are 2 primary ways in which I get internet in the van. The first one, the one that I use most of the time while I'm traveling, a simple mobile hotspot. I will turn on my mobile hotspot and broadcast it inside the van with this little portable 12-volt router. I'll put a link to this in the description below. It works surprisingly well for how small it is. And then coming back to the control panel here, I actually have this cell signal booster, which can be turned on with one of these switches. That gets routed to a cable that goes all the way up, out, through the roof, to a little antenna on top of the roof. In practice, it works a little bit in certain situations, and mobile hotspot is the primary way that I get internet, especially when I'm out in the middle of nowhere. You'd be surprised at how many places have LTE. The second way that I get internet in the van is leeching off of Starbucks, libraries, friends' houses' Wi-Fi. I will do a similar thing where I connect their Wi-Fi to this little router right here, extending the range of their network into my van so that I get a really good connection. And that is my favorite way to get internet in here, because when you're competitively gaming, you want as low ping as possible, and LTE unfortunately has about double the ping as a nearby Wi-Fi connection. Sometimes I kind of feel like a hacker van. I'll just roll up to Wi-Fi, connect to it, and start leeching. When I took a trip last winter from my home base here in California out to my work in Denver, Colorado, on the way out there was a massive snowstorm when I was in the middle of Utah, and I decided to stop at a campground there. I was the only person in this entire campground. There's got to be 50 or 60 different car slots. I was the only person there. Tons of snow on the ground, tons of snow coming down. I just remember being in the van when it was 9 degrees outside. It was freezing cold. It was 70 degrees inside the van. My diesel heater was pumping, had my headphones on, and I was gaming in the middle of winter, in the middle of nowhere. It was a very surreal experience. All right, guys, and that sums it up for how I PC game in the van. I am selling out this time for my brand new gaming channel. Link to that right here, as well as in the video description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.